may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, y'all absolutely destroyed the like button on our rest of season running back rankings video. So now we are going to come out here and we are going to talk about our quarterback rest of season rankings. And also go down to the comment section. Let me know what quarterbacks you are currently rostering going into the fantasy football playoffs and why. Also, let me know if you have any questions. And guys, please go down and answer some questions. Give your opinion. We are all a part of the flock. I want us all to be working together to try to gear our teams up for the fantasy football playoffs this year and take home those trophies. And also, guys, I will say as a small piece of quarterback strategy, y'all know throughout this entire season, I've been pretty much telling y'all to only roster one quarterback. And if that starting quarterback got injured, if they were in the top option like Patrick Mahomes, then you would just go to streaming, or you would just stream the position the entire year anyway if you were looking at quarterbacks like Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater. So I really never wanted to roster two. Well, now is the time where you drop that extra wide receiver, you drop that extra running back, and you pick up that second quarterback. Very similar to what I said about defenses. I think for the fantasy football playoffs, we are completely fine rostering two quarterbacks and then playing the best matchup. Okay, now let's get into it and let's talk about our top 10 rest of season quarterbacks. And let's start it off with everybody's number one. I disrespected him a few weeks ago by having Kyler Murray there, but Patrick Mahomes is coming in here at number one. All right, now with Patrick Mahomes, not only do we understand that he may just be the most talented quarterback that has ever played the game of football. Yes, I am willing to say that. But on top of that, we've seen with him now that if he's playing in a competitive matchup, that he is willing to use his legs. He is willing to go out there and rush for 30 to 40 yards in a game, which is going to take his already elite ceiling and just make it so much higher than the second best option, where Mahomes is in his own tier here at number one. And what's nasty about Mahomes as well is you would assume that Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the best fantasy football schedule, just because you would assume that God didn't want to make it like that. But no, Mahomes has a fantastic playoff schedule where there's no way that you are going to be able to get away from him. I mean, if you are going up against Mahomes, you better have Tyreek Hill, you better have Derrick Henry, you better have some firepower to try to combat it, because Patrick Mahomes, clearly that elite option, should be destroying teams in the fantasy football playoffs. And now our number two option, severely disappointing this past week, but we are going to have Kyler Murray. Now with Kyler Murray, guys, it's all about that rushing equity in his offense. We know that he has been non-stop vulturing touchdowns from Kenyon Drake so far this season. On top of that, he looks like he's one of the fastest quarterbacks in the entire NFL, if not the fastest quarterback. I mean, it's crazy to look at him looking so small in the field compared to the monsters all around him, and him just being a gear faster than everyone else. But with Kyler Murray, I'll say the last week down performance was due to the shoulder injury that he's dealing with. I think that this injury is not going to really linger much longer, just because we know that if it would have, I think that they would have just kind of avoided going out there and having Kyler Murray play in that game. They would have had him take a week off. So I think Kyler Murray, by the time we get to week 14, should be completely fine. He should have that elite rushing equity in his offense, which we know is a cheat code in fantasy football. And he's also one of the most talented passers in the entire NFL. So hard to get away from Kyler Murray in the number two spot. All right, so now our third quarterback, someone that honestly, I know a lot of y'all are going to have a little bit lower than this, but I cannot. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has been disappointing over the past month compared to what he did at the very beginning of the season. But I think a couple things are happening here. I think people kind of got greedy with how well Russell Wilson was playing at the very beginning. They thought that it was going to last forever. They thought that it was never going to end, and they were just going to be able to ride Russell Wilson to their fantasy football championships. While that is not the case, while Russell Wilson is not the clear quarterback one in fantasy football, he is still a fantastic option. We know that Russell Wilson can pick up those rushing yards. We know that Russell Wilson is still playing in an offense that wants to throw the ball early and often. If you zoom back and you look at his career level of efficiency, it is at the very top of the NFL, where you could make the argument that he's the most talented quarterback in the entire NFL. So we are going to have him in here at 3. All right, now coming in here at number 4, we are going to have Aaron Rodgers. And guys, I know a lot of y'all were not listening to us this summer, but I want to apologize for like the 10 people that were, because I was saying that Aaron Rodgers was an overrated quarterback in fantasy football. I'm just going to come out here and admit myself as a fraud who doesn't know anything, because I thought that Aaron Rodgers, if you looked at his yards per attempt, had drastically declined year over year over year. Then they traded up to get Jordan Love in the first round. Then they took A.J. Dillon in the second round. Then they took a fullback / tight end in the third round of the 2020 NFL draft. It looked like they were trying to change their team identity. It looked like they were trying to replicate what we had with the Tennessee Titans, where they were going out there and running to be a power running team. But clearly that has not been the case. Aaron Rodgers is possibly playing better now than he has in the past 5 years. Literally peak Aaron Rodgers play we're seeing right now. And what's great is we are seeing Aaron Jones continue to get healthier. We are seeing Davante Adams as the top wide receiver in football. So Rodgers, a clear top 5 option. Nothing else to really say. I just want to come out here and show y'all that I was horribly, horribly wrong. And now our next quarterback coming in here at number 5. Justin Herbert. Now, y'all know with Justin Herbert, I will smash this. I mean, there is not a quarterback that I own more in our Dynasty Superflex leagues. Regardless, with Herbert, I think that Austin Eckler coming in is actually really going to help him in the fantasy football playoffs. He also has a great schedule during the fantasy football playoffs. Now, he has all his weapons in Mike Williams, in Keenan Allen, in Austin Eckler. I think that there should be no reason why he can't successfully push the ball down the field. We know that he's also a quarterback that is shown to have some rushing equity in his offense. So given the schedule, given the playmakers, given the fact that he's the only rookie quarterback in NFL history to average over 300 passing yards a game, I think we just have to look at Justin Herbert and admit that he's already an elite option in fantasy football, going to be in the top 5 for us. Okay, now coming in here at number 6, someone that I did not draft in a single league coming into 2020, Lamar Jackson. With Lamar Jackson, yes, I know he's been severely disappointing. I mean, he looks like he regressed as a passer, and I wanted to come out and say after that week 1 performance with Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown against the Cleveland Browns that Lamar Jackson had taken a step up, but no, it looks like he has taken 3 steps back. He is still going to be up here for us though, knowing that fantasy football at the quarterback position is so reliant on that rushing equity in their offense because it's that cheat code. I say this all the time, guys. It doesn't matter if Lamar Jackson only goes out there and throws for 150 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. If he goes out there and he rushes for 60 yards and an additional touchdown, we know the way scoring works in fantasy football leagues, that 60 yards that he rushes is equivalent to another, I want to say, about 240 passing yards. And on top of that, that other touchdown that he ran in is equivalent to about 125 passing yards. I mean, it is literally a cheat code. You have it with Lamar Jackson. Not a good NFL quarterback at the moment, but he is going out there and he is getting you those points. Now, coming in here at 7, he is going to be a faller based on the fact that John Brown is on the short-term IR. And if you look at the splits with and without John Brown, they are ugly. But we are going to have Josh Allen. Yes, Josh Allen has a ceiling that you can argue cannot be matched by any quarterback on this list. But John Brown was that field-stretching option for him. John Brown made so much space underneath for Cole Beasley and for Stephon Diggs. Now that's not available. Josh Allen is going to regress slightly, but he does have that rushing equity. He does have that big play potential, which is going to lock him in here at number 7. And now coming in here at quarterback 8, we are going to have someone that has a fantastic schedule for the fantasy football playoffs. We are going to have Ryan Tannehill. Now with Tannehill, yes, I'll argue that the ceiling is not necessarily elite. I mean, I think Tannehill has no chance to be in that Patrick Mahomes tier, but we know that he has a very high floor based on the efficiency that he's shown so far as taking over as the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, how laughable is it that Ryan Tannehill looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the entire NFL under Adam Gase, and as soon as he gets a decent offensive line with a decent coach, I mean, Ryan Tannehill looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, Adam Gase should be embarrassed. I mean, can you imagine being Adam Gase and walking around New York right now? I don't know. I mean, he probably Uber Eats a lot. He probably sends his wife to the door to pick it up so he doesn't have to see the person dropping off the food. I mean, yeah, it's just brutal. Ryan Tannehill going to be in here at number 8. Now, coming in here at number 9, definitely dropping with the Will Fuller news, we are going to have DeShaun Watson. DeShaun Watson, not much to say. He still has that rushing equity in his offense, but, I mean, he's throwing to right now Brandon Cooks, Duke Johnson, and Kiki QT. I mean, what are we expecting from DeShaun Watson? I think this offense is definitely going to regress. Still a top 10 option because we know the talent. We know he's going to get those rushing yards, but still, I am worried. Now, coming in here at quarterback 10, we are going to have Ben Roethlisberger. With Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, he looks like he's one of the safer options on this list. Very similar to a Ryan Tannehill. The problem is he doesn't have that elite upside as a player like Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, because he has no rushing equity, but he has what you could argue to be the most talented wide receivers in the entire NFL. And on top of that, we know that he is going to be that consistent force as a quarterback one. All right, now thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps us out. And I hope I'll see you on the live stream on Friday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central and Sunday morning.